What's up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about classic bodybuilding. And this is Bodypower Day 2 and 3 combined, as this is part 2 of the Bodypower experience, of our experience here in England, Birmingham. And as you can see, this is a Saturday actually, day 2. It's a lot busier. Friday is usually the day that people have to take a day off from work or happen to be off. But Saturday, usually most people want to go then, because Sunday, sometimes people have obligations. But Saturday is the most popular day, and we definitely notice that. Business, which is primarily the reason why you go to an expo with a company, went well, so I was very happy with that. And all the support, all the people who came to me, all the people who wanted to take pictures, talk to me, and just ask me questions, no matter what the reason was, just coming to the booth, I really appreciate it, because that just means to me, and that shows me that there is a lot of interest in vintage genetics and therefore also classic bodybuilding. Because half of the people that I speak to, who I had a conversation with, they really did talk about the classic in bodybuilding, not just bodybuilding in general or the clothing, but really the message behind it, and that is very important to me for sure. And it's just very nice that last year there were some people coming to my booth, quite a lot of people as well, but this time there was like a line half of the time, especially on Saturday, which just gives you a very unique feeling in my opinion, because I've been going to expos myself since like age 17 or so, and I've always been used to seeing lines, like standing in line myself for an athlete, and now having one yourself where people actually wait to talk to you or to take a picture with you is just a surreal experience. And this is Zach Angley, actually a very good men's physique athlete who actually has a very popular Instagram page and also does some videos. Actually, I've seen him in some videos, but he's a good guy in general, so always nice to see him on the expos. And also quite a lot of people asked me to do some posing, or to do posing with them, or to just show a classic pose, and I don't ever hesitate to do that, because in the end I am a bodybuilder, and some bodybuilders don't even dare to do poses. I mean, this is who I am. This is the third day of Sunday of the Bodypower, and we are broken, but we're gonna go at it again from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. all day long. But everyone who comes to the stand gives us energy, so as many people as possible must come to provide us as much energy as possible. And now we're going to walk towards the expo within the most narrow possible space.
To hit all the cars?
And it's around 8:40 right now. It's officially going to start at 9 a.m. for the VIPs. And then at 10 a.m. everyone is able to get in. So not only the VIPs, but everyone. Then it's going to get really busy. And yes.
We gaan heel even zo, dat is makkelijk.
Actually went quite well yesterday, very well. Much better than last year. So that's good. That means the brand is doing well. And I've made a lot of contact with people, had a lot of chats, a lot of pictures. So that was awesome. Hopefully today will be the same. So yes, let's keep walking. Alright, we are here backstage at the PCA competition actually, of Bodypower. So there's next to an expo, there's also a bodybuilding competition going on all 3 days, and I think today is the highest category in terms of level. So the pro league of the PCA, I think. But it's pretty awesome to see actual competitors walking around the expo and coming to the booth, and actually having done posing routines inspired by some of the posing that I have done, which is pretty cool to hear. This is the lifting area.
Not only the lifting area, but also the CrossFit area.
Yes, but it's all lifting. That's something else. CrossFit.
Do you like CrossFit?
This is day 3 at the Expo, another great day. Sunday was also quite busy as well. Not as busy as Saturday, but still quite a nice turnout. Every day we reconfigured the booth as where we placed clothing, different bags here and there, just to see what sells the best and what people like the most. Because every day we get a better idea of what people like. So one day we noticed to sell a lot of sleeveless shorts, so you put them on the booth for the next day because you know those are running quite well. You can actually see an example of one of the athletes who asked me to do some coaching with them. I never declined that because I really like, to make this sport even more popular. I just don't want to be one of those guys who you come to see at an expo and then not get anything out of. So of course, I am there to do anything that people want to do in terms of bodybuilding, of course, because that is my identity, my classic bodybuilder, and of course showing the body off. But yeah, it's been pretty awesome because a lot of people were actually competitors here walking around the expo. They did the PCA show here and they walked around, and when they saw me, some of them did at the photos, which was really awesome. And then it is of course time to go back to Dinos Gym at the end of the expo day and finish off a nice workout. On part 1, the previous uploaded video, I showed you a hardcore chest workout, which was pretty awesome to do in this gym. And of course, doing a back workout is just as great. And I have to say, this machine is very rare. I've never seen it in another gym before. And this is the only gym that I've been able to do this machine. I just call it a medium grip high row, but you can of course attach any pulley, any different attachment to this pulley to make it a different grip. But I really like this one. Just the feeling of the stretch at the top and the contraction you can get on this angle is just amazing. And you can do very heavy with this, really stretch out the back, which is really what creates that ultimate V shape that you want. So if you happen to have a machine like this and it kind of looks like a hammer strength row that you could do, but this one just feels a bit different. It forces you to stretch out your lats at the very top. All in all, it's just a great exercise to do and to start a back workout with, because to me, it's not a pull down and it's not a row. It's kind of a combination between the two, because usually with a row, you work primarily on the back thickness. With a pull down, you work primarily on the width. But this is a combination which I nowadays like to do because I want to work mostly on the thickness of my back, but without neglecting the width. So I always want to do at least one exercise that also targets the width very well, and this one with its amazing stretch really does that. And of course I worked out together with my dad again, who is one of the best workout partners you can wish for if he is serious. So if you can work out with your dad, definitely do so, because it's just both mentally and physically a strengthening activity. And the next one is a seated chest supported row. And I've been doing more chest supported rows lately. At our own gym, we don't have a machine like this, but I like to use a bench and then dumbbells or kettlebells to do this kind of rowing. But you can see in this very clip that you can really work the back thickness because it is chest supported. It allows you to arch your back very well, and it allows you to pull back your shoulder blades to retract your scapula as much as possible, because that is the contraction you want to feel in those deep muscle fibers connecting to the bone, because those need to grow in order for your back thickness to improve. You have to keep this in mind. If you cannot pull back your shoulder blades when you work a back thickness exercise or doing any kind of row, you should simply pick a lighter weight. Because of course, you can do the stretch, you can do the movement with some momentum, but if you cannot get that contraction at the very end, you will not build the back thickness that you are looking for. Trust me. I have been training for 12 years. No, I trained 12 years. I'm 26 now. Started when I was 14 years old, and in all that time, in most of the years, I developed a quite wide back, but the back thickness can be better for a competitive bodybuilder, which I am. I need to be compared to the best of the world on stage, so I do whatever I can to improve that back. And what I've been doing is I went very heavy with most back exercises, but I wasn't able to fully contract the scapula or retract the shoulder blades, and that kept my back from developing that thickness that I need. So trust me, you will have muscle ache in that area if you haven't trained in this way. And the same thing can be done with the regular seated row. This one is very nice because it has a very long range of motion, also working the width, but mostly the thickness. Here you can see I'm stretching out all the way, working the V taper. Then when going backwards, when I'm squeezing the weight, when I'm squeezing the lats, I make sure that I arch my back again. I really contract every single muscle in the back that I can, really focusing again on pulling back those shoulder blades. And of course the pump was real during this workout. It almost seems like when working out in this gym, the pump is increased by at least 150% for some reason. But for the ones wondering, we actually had an apartment here. I did not film any of that. I was about to film it, but I kind of forgot because of all the things we had to do. But we did have an apartment with our own little kitchen, so we simply went to the supermarket, got some of our own stuff, cooked our meals, and then brought it to the expo so we can actually feed our bodies properly instead of just relying on restaurants, which we had to do last year because then we stayed in a hotel with unlimited breakfast included, and when you hear and see that, you simply cannot resist. So last year we consumed quite a lot more calories than this year, but this year I'm a more serious bodybuilder because last year I still wasn't a pro, but now I am a professional bodybuilder and I really am taking it seriously because this off season I want to grow as much as possible, and one of the things that I want to improve is the back thickness, and to improve that you need to eat like a beast and work out like a beast, and combine those two for a long, consistent period of time, and you will see the gains that you want to see. Here, a quite heavy seated row and always having someone to help you or spot you whenever needed is very, very good to have during a back workout or a leg workout, especially those two, to get those slabs of thick muscle on those muscle groups to get you past failure on most of the exercises. Alright, and finally, a pullover machine for the back, just like Dorian Yates used to do. This is actually one of the gyms that Dorian Yates worked out at. It's not that far from Temple Gym actually. It's kind of comparable to a gym like that, very hardcore, just iron, heavy, hardcore iron. This machine is amazing because most pullover machines aren't wide enough for my lats to fit in between, and you can kind of see that it's still kind of narrow for me, but this is a perfect machine for me to do right now because I am able to do a full range of motion here. And the difference between this pullover machine compared to a dumbbell pullover, for example, is that during the contraction part here you can actually squeeze the lats even further like Dorian Yates used to do, but during a dumbbell pullover that is much more difficult to do. So this machine is quite awesome. And it's just nice to share our knowledge with the people here in this gym because everybody here is pretty much very serious, and talking to them really enhances your own knowledge as well, and it just is a lot of fun working out alongside all these serious guys. So I will never forget going to Dinos Gym just like last year, and I'm definitely planning on going many more times. But here, this pullover machine, if you have it at your gym, definitely do this one. It is the only true isolation movement with a full tension on the back that you can do. You could do a cable pullover, for example, but you really need to have a good mind-muscle connection for that. With this exercise, you can really force the stretch on your lats and the squeeze, the contraction on your lats during this entire range of motion. You can go quite heavy, but you will notice that the squeeze is very difficult to achieve. So here I am, of course, spotting my dad as he did with me. Now this will actually be the last back exercise we do. I like to do at least 4 to 5 back exercises every time, because the back is a very big muscle group with a lot of different smaller and bigger muscles that all need to be developed. So you simply need to do a lot of different exercises from different angles to be able to be sure that you are developing a complete back with thickness, detail from top to bottom. And this is quite a heavy exercise, and I decided to do this in a way that forces the negative reps, because as most of you guys know, on the positive motion on an exercise you are a lot weaker compared to the negative motion. And the negative motion here is going upwards. I can control the weight, but going downwards you simply need to have a spotter to go past failure. So I did quite a lot of reps past failure and then force myself to do the negative on my own to crush and destroy those muscle fibers even more. And whenever you do work out with someone, you have to make sure that they motivate you as well, and they motivate you by actually going all the way themselves, and it motivates you to keep going and not slack off because the other person isn't either. And it's always nice to have the gym owner himself be around to motivate you even more. And then it is time to hit some biceps. We're starting out with a preacher curl machine, starting out with a closed grip, but actually during this exercise I kind of noticed a little bit of, irritation in the bicep tendon. I've been having this for a couple of weeks, so I always stick to lighter weights for the biceps to ensure a blood flow to them, but without irritating the bicep tendon even more, without stressing it too much. And this is really what I recommend you guys do if you have any trouble with any tendon at all. First of all, do not skip the muscle that you have pain with. Of course, if you tear it or anything, don't work it, but if you feel just a little bit of irritation or pain near the tendon, then do keep working the muscle that it is attached to make sure that you get proper blood flow to that area. There is no other way to get good blood flow to the area if you don't use it. The tendons and the ligaments already by default don't have a lot of blood going to them. It's very difficult to get blood flow to them, so you have to keep using the muscle that it is attached to. And then with supplements and proper nutrition you can actually further enhance the body's ability to fix that area by, for example, taking in hydrolyzed collagen protein, which in several studies have proven to actually directly go to the tendons instead of just being used as another protein source. And in between the exercises, of course, you have to do some posing when you are in this gym. That simply is mandatory. And since it is an old school gym with, on the television, old school bodybuilding documentaries, you cannot just do any poses. You have to at least try some classic poses, which to me, of course, are the true art of bodybuilding instead of just always doing the mandatory standard ones. And this exercise is actually pretty amazing. It's the cable concentration curl. So for people who have tendon issues near the bicep, I recommend you doing exercises that cause the tension on the biceps to be constant. If you lose tension during the range of motion all the time, it actually shocks the tendon more. It puts more pressure on it during different ranges of motion when you do an exercise compared to an exercise like this with constant tension. On top of that, I will also do some wrist curls to strengthen the forearm muscles, which is a common problem associated with tendon pain near the bicep. And of course, this guy right here, a good supporter of vintage genetics and classic bodybuilding. Of course, I could not neglect or decline doing a pose with this guy, a fellow classic bodybuilder. Yes, as you can see, as a post-workout treat there were some donuts available, a lot of different ones, which of course looks nice, but I actually went for one of these bad boys on this menu. These are actually smoothies with whey and some other fruits, some extra creatine or glutamine for example, which I went for.
This is the insulin bomb post-workout. Only deserve this if you worked out hard enough. And for a back workout it is. I know. Thank you. Perfect. 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah! And one more. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! And last time you ugly motherfuckers. 1, 2, 3. Yeah!
And that was actually the annual picture that was taken at every Bodypower Expo, because it's pretty close to this gym and it's, as you can see, quite busy. Every year at Bodypower, a lot of serious bodybuilders who come to visit Bodypower go to Dinos Gym, and of course going on the annual picture is something we like to do.
You can say that again.
It's quite busy now.
And now we are done with the Bodypower experience. We are heading home, walking to the car. This is actually the day before we go home. And Monday we actually went home and drove all the way back to the Netherlands.
Ja, ik wou zeggen, dan hebben we eindelijk op film.
How was it?
We are on our way home right now. It's Monday, and the Bodypower was actually better than last year in terms of the people coming to the booth, but it was different as well, because last year the setup was, according to a lot of people, more clear and there were less bigger brands this time, but still Vintage Genetics did better than last year, so that's a great thing. Met a lot of people, heard a lot of stories, shook a lot of hands, took a lot of pictures, which is always energizing because every day is from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and that's 9 full hours, but those go by quicker when you get a lot of energy from other people coming to the booth. So I really appreciate all the support we've been getting from everybody, just purchasing the items, showing their support, you know, tagging me in the Instagram posts, really sharing the message of classic bodybuilding. And I talked to a lot of competitors as well who were inspired by watching the videos, which means a lot to me, and they wanted to be a classic bodybuilder. First, for example, they did men's physique, but they really wanted to do classic physique now because I simply wanted to show the art of bodybuilding through their poses. So that's just a few of the stories that I've been hearing. And yes, I hope you enjoyed watching these videos of our experience at the Bodypower. And we will be at a lot more expos in the future for sure. This is only one of the expos we will be going to, and the brand will be growing more and more. Once again, I want to thank you for your support, and don't forget to stay golden.